Hello and welcome to the show. I hope you are incredibly well. I've got a packed programme for you today. First of all, Meghan Markle is accused of stealing yet again. It is a shocking pattern of behaviour. I've got the inside story. And at the end of today's show, King Charles pays tribute to Pope Francis, who has sadly passed away at the age of 88. Speaking as a proud Roman Catholic myself, may he rest in peace. Lovely tribute from Charles coming at the end. But first, it was Easter weekend, so what was Meghan Markle's chosen way of celebrating? Do you think she painted eggs or organised an Easter egg hunt? Do you think they bought some chocolate to celebrate? Maybe she went to church to pay her respects. Good luck with that. She decided to celebrate by publicising herself on social media with this video of her watching a bit of wildlife in action. A mother duck and baby ducks. Great video, this one, for Meghan, because it shows her what a united family looks like. There are plenty of jokes you can make. That woman is foul. As always, she's ruffling feathers. If it walks like a grifter and talks like a grifter. Yes, Meghan wants to rule the roost and be top of the pecking order and put her beak into other people's business. Well, one thing I will tell you is that Meghan is definitely winging it, which takes me to the first shocking story today. You won't believe this. Another plagiarism row. The alleged thief that is the Duchess of Sussex strikes again. So, Meghan Markle's animated Netflix project, Pearl, which, by the way, was a complete flop because everything this woman touches turns to mud. Cheers. Delicious. Back on the decaf, by the way. You're welcome. So, look, she had this series. It was called Pearl. It was a very boring animated adventure. And it's at the centre of a plagiarism row, which is basically when you steal an idea. And it's a British author, an amazing lady, an inspirational woman called Mel Elliott, who writes books, she illustrates them. She's an absolute genius. So this cartoon was called Pearl. This was Meghan's project, announced in 2021, was about a girl discovering her power and being inspired by historical women. Meghan was executive producer alongside David Furnish, Elton John's husband. By the way, can I just quickly mention Elton? Because it's very clear that the Sussex's stock in California has gone through the floor, right? There are no photo calls with the Obamas. There are no dinner dates with the Clooneys. Right? Last time she sent out her jam, she had to send it to a bunch of nobodies. The most famous person she sent her jam to was her own mother. And who wants that horrible stinky stuff anyway, which has got her eyelashes in it and all the rest of it? Forget it. I don't want her jam. I don't want any of her rubbish products. By the way, what an insult. Apparently she sent a whole load of that jam and the crepe mix and other nonsense, those flour sprinkles, which I believe could be illegal narcotics. She sent them to King Charles. If she thinks that's going to make peace after her bitter war of attrition towards the firm, she can think again. She's been having too many of those flour sprinkles. It's affected her rational judgment. But anyway, David Furnish, Elton John's husband, right? Elton John and David Furnish, two of my favourite people in the world. Elton John, a bona fide musical genius. David Furnish, by the way, got Elton back on track, helped Elton to stay on his sobriety journey, managed his career brilliantly with the biggest grossing tour in the history of music and a #1 album just this month. Who Believes in Angels, which I can highly recommend. So Furnish knows what he's doing. Elton and he are very loving as a couple. But they used to be part of the Sussex set. We haven't had a squeak out of Elton about Harry and Meghan for years. And I think I know why. It's because Elton John is a very patriotic man. He's a proud Brit. He knew the Queen well. He performed for her. He danced with Queen Elizabeth. And he will have been horrified by Harry and Meghan's betrayal of the royal family, betrayal of the Queen and Prince Philip, the obnoxious behaviour. And it's my judgment, it's my view that Elton has ditched Harry and Meghan. We would have known, if there was still an ongoing friendship, there would have been photos, holidays spent together in the summer at Elton's south of France villa. It ain't happening. Harry and Meghan have been dropped by everyone. Name me one significant celebrity. Even Oprah. She didn't do any posts about the jam, did she? Where's Oprah? Oprah is MIA. She's missing in action. No one wants to be associated with this couple. So this is the plagiarism row, right? So Meghan's done a cartoon series with David Furnish, which has been a flop. Very unusual experience for David Furnish not to be successful. But then that's what happens if you collaborate with my husband. I'm Meghan Markle. Oh, didn't you know I'm Meghan Sussex now? I'm not Meghan Markle anymore. How dare you? So, but it was a flop. The cartoon didn't go well. It was cancelled, right? Just like everything that Megs does, cancelled. So Mel Elliott, this wonderful British author, a talented lady, had already published 3 cartoon books about a character called Pearl. Do you see the connection? So Meghan has got an empowered cartoon character in 2021 called Pearl, who's all about girl power. By the way, I'd love to know what Meghan's interpretation of girl power is. Is girl power coming to England and finding a rich prince and marrying him? Is that what girl power looks like? I don't think so. I think girl power is Mrs. Thatcher, who transformed the United Kingdom in the 1980s, creating an extraordinary diplomatic and economic alliance with the United States, ending the Cold War. Reagan, Thatcher, Gorbachev. Yes, folks, I am that old. Can you believe it? I'm very well preserved, and the lighting in here is very forgiving. That's girl power, isn't it? I'm not her biggest fan, but Madonna, that is girl power. One of the biggest selling artists of all time. She doesn't mess around, does she? Our Madge. Okay, that is girl power. Mother Teresa, healed the sick, girl power. Marrying a rich English prince, do me a favor. Would you tell your daughter that was the inspiring story? To be a Z-list TV actress that no one's heard of, come over to England, use celebrities like Piers Morgan to get access to the son of the future king of the United Kingdom. So anyway, so much for girl power. If I had a daughter, I don't have a daughter. One of the sons is very girly, but not quite there. And honestly, I'd be saying to you, you get out there, be a captain of industry, invent stuff, be a rock star, you do anything you want. But I don't think marrying a rich prince would be my career advice. I think that's very, it's a very unambitious, but that's what Meghan did, of course. So Meghan thinks that she understands girl power. I don't think so. A feminist icon, she ain't. So Mel Elliott, she's published these 3 books, right? 2014 to 2016. And they're called Pearl Power. And it's a girl called Pearl, and she's all about girl power. By the way, too many P's. I've lost the plot. Do I need a quick slug of the decaf? I think I do. What do you think of today's mug? Blimey, I'm tripping over every word. It says rosemary on it. I bought this in a charity shop, which the Americans call a thrift store. What do you call those shops in Australia? What is a secondhand store called in Australia where you've got clothes and items for the kitchen and stuff? What is that? Secondhand store? Let me know in the comments, by the way. The show is crazy global. I was just looking at our geography the other day. I mean, it's the greatest thrill of my entire life and entire career. But I'm talking to you now, and you're in the United States, right? The greatest, what is it? Is it the greatest nation in the history of the world? There's an argument for that. It's the biggest economy ever, bigger than the British Empire. Can you believe it? We've got Canada. I love Canada. What a country, right? So many Canadians watching the show. Beautiful country, amazing people, great culture, great landscapes. A little more politically uncontroversial at the moment. Then you've got Australia. Beautiful. I love Australia. Do you know what? I say I love it. I have watched so much content from Australia. So many of my heroes are Australian, including Jermaine Greer, Barry Humphries, Clive James, and many others. Reg Grundy, incredible TV producer. Australia's incredible. Then you've got New Zealand. The Philippines is massive. I'm delighted about that. Maybe it's the expats. I don't know, but I'm delighted. And then we've got, I'm doing this from memory. There are so many countries. Holland as well. I'll forget a massive country. I'll forget China. It's like, you shouldn't forget China. Anyway, so the show's very global. Why did we get to that? I don't know. But let me tell you that, oh yes, I was asking you about secondhand mugs. The bottom line is we are global, and this is a global story. So this woman claims that basically her idea for a cartoon was stolen by the Duchess, my husband. So she's got these 3 books out. They're all called Pearl Power, and it's about female empowerment. She began developing a Pearl Power animated series in 2019 featuring the character meeting inspirational figures from history. Her first episode concept included tennis icon Billie Jean King, with plans to feature Maya Angelou, Amelia Earhart, Jane Goodall, and Madonna. So this was not Meghan's show. This was going to be Mel Elliott's show, which, by the way, I think would not have been a flop. And I think if Netflix are worth their salt, they should commission the original Pearl cartoon done by somebody that actually knows what they're doing. This lady, Mel Elliott, she's been an illustrator her whole life. She's a magazine editor. She's a copywriter. She's a designer. She's an author. She's an absolute wizard. And she's qualified to do these cartoons. Why is it that Meghan has to come in always as the rank amateur, right? Not a proper actress. And then she gets away with it in Suits. Then she knows nothing about cooking or homeware, but now she's an expert with the Netflix series. She thinks she's a global leader, an influencer, but no one cares what she's got to say. She's a podcaster now. She's a broadcaster. Then she was a princess for a while. She was going to do public duty, but she found that the smell of freshly painted rooms was unenjoyable, and, you know, sandwiches with the crust cut off. She got very tired of opening hospital wings. So she's an expert in doing things she knows nothing about. And I think the failure of the cartoon demonstrates that. Meanwhile, Mel Elliott is an expert. She's a genius. So her team, her legal team, sent a copyright concern letter to Meghan at Archwell in July 2021, stating that the similarities were too many and too striking to be mere coincidence. She also sent the message to the production company making the cartoon. She followed up with 2 personal letters to Meghan and Netflix, but received, wait for it, no reply. Right, and this is Meghan Markle, who loves writing letters. She does creepy letters to people all the time, including sending a creepy stalker-like letter to a podcaster who was reviewing her show, and Meghan wrote her a creepy little letter, which felt to me like something out of Basic Instinct. Do you remember that? With Michael Douglas, who's a happily married man who accidentally has an affair with a dangerous, ravishing, beautiful woman played by Glenn Close. In the end, Glenn Close does something unspeakable with the rabbits in boiling water. It's not good. Anyway, I think there are elements of the bunny boiler about our Megs, but the bottom line is no reply from Meghan. What an insult. I mean, the least they could have done is said, we don't agree, there's no similarity, on your way. But no, just nothing. There you go. Mel Elliott, talented woman, ghosted like so many other people by the Duchess. Not Meghan Markle. Meghan Sussex, didn't you know? So despite early fanfare, Meghan's Pearl project was cancelled by Netflix in May 2022 during a slate of animated project cuts. Elliott said she'd love to have collaborated on the project, been included in some way, or do her own version. She believes that her public test animation and social media posts made her work visible to Meghan's team. Elliott claims she didn't go public sooner out of fear of online abuse from Meghan's fans. Well, she's right to be afraid of that, because Meghan's fans are like the militia. They are brutal. They're unforgiving. And let's be honest, it's a cult, and they're deluded. They're mad. They've lost the plot. They're up a gum tree. And this poor woman, right, Mel Elliott's had to recover from breast cancer and everything. She's been to hell and back. Seeing her original idea manifest on Netflix, that must have been devastating. Now, this accusation, by the way, let me stress that the Duchess and the production company involved, they all deny any similarities. But this accusation, right, it's a bad headline for Meghan. In isolation, you'd think, oh, well, you know, coincidences happen. But I'm afraid there is a pattern of behavior. So, for example, we've got the Confessions of a Female Founder. Now, that is Meghan's new podcast, which is very dull, which I'm listening to every week, and I'll probably have to review it. I think it drops tomorrow, so I think there's bound to be material in there. So I think I would expect a video tomorrow, if I were you, in which I listen to it through gritted teeth, and then I'll recount and regurgitate the horrors of what I heard. Anyway, her podcast is called Confessions of a Female Founder. which it turns out, and as you well know, and I've mentioned on the show before, is an existing podcast. Right? And it's not even sort of confessions of a woman founder or confessions of a female entrepreneur. It's word for word the same as a podcast which already exists and has existed for 2 years. So, can you believe this? 2 years, this other lady who's a genuine entrepreneur that's actually made money and run businesses successfully, who's got her show, and that's been online, it's been on YouTube. Meghan takes the name. Okay. Then you've got With Love Meghan. And this was the cooking show, the lifestyle show on Netflix. By the way, a review of every episode is on this channel. Do check it out. I've had some fun with it. I hope you'll like it. But worth listening to, worth watching. Meghan Markle's new Netflix series, With Love Meghan, has also been accused of a copycat crime. Okay, that Meghan is once again accused of stealing an idea. This time from a show called Cooking with Love. So can we just clarify this, right? Meghan's show is called With Love Meghan. And Pamela Anderson, the lovely model, her show is called Cooking with Love. So Cooking with Love and With Love Meghan. It's basically the same name, isn't it? And Pamela Anderson, by the way, she's been on quite the journey because she was famous, of course, in the 90s for her role in Baywatch, in which she was basically paid a lot of money, I think $500,000 an episode, to wear a bikini and run across the beach. And David Hasselhoff was involved in his very, very tight shorts. So that was Baywatch, which was a TV classic. It made her a big star. And she had lots of dysfunctional relationships and she was objectified. And I think she did some nude cover shoots and all the rest of it. And I think, to be honest with you, there's a fair bit of trauma going on in the background of Pamela Anderson. But what Pamela Anderson is a world-famous person, a world-famous model, a world-famous actress, a world-famous celebrity. She is a woman of substance. She's had a long and enduring career. She's made a lot of money. By the way, terrible deals and bad husbands mean that she's pretty much penniless now, which really shocks me. There can't be anything worse, can there, than having been very rich and then go poor. I think you want to stay poor. Like a through line of poverty is better than tasting wealth and then losing it, I would humbly suggest. So, but Pamela Anderson, the other angle on her, by the way, is that she's gone very real. She's gone very earthy and now doesn't wear makeup and is completely beautiful. She's naturally beautiful and is, I think, a great role model. Talking about role models, I think Pamela Anderson is a great role model because she's real now. She's naturally beautiful. And she did this great cooking show called Cooking with Love. Fans and media critics were quick to notice striking similarities between the two series, from the tone and visuals to the overall format, even the use of the phrase "with love" in the title. Both shows feature the celebrity hosts giggling in sunlit, rustic kitchens and carrying wicker baskets filled with vegetables from their gardens. So the bottom line is that Pamela's show was first, just like Mel Elliott and her children's books and Pearl. Pamela was there first, just like the podcast, The Confessions of a Female CEO. They got there first, and Meghan goes and takes it, doesn't she? Like a magpie. Back to birds again. There's a very strong avian theme to today's show, isn't there? Although I get bird flu whenever I think of Meghan. I'll be honest. She's like a clay pigeon. That's how real she is. Anyway, so criticism escalated about similarities between Meg's cooking show and Pamela Anderson's show. Because what happened is Pam's show was commissioned in early 2023 by Canada's Flavour Network. So my Canadian viewers, do you watch that? Do you watch the Flavour Network? Have you seen Pamela's show? Is it similar to Meg's? Does I don't know. I can't remember if Pamela Anderson is married at the moment, but if she refers to her partner, does she call him my husband? My husband? I don't know. I'm sure she doesn't, because Pamela is a grown-up individual and not an idiot. So basically the show's come way before Meghan's show. One reviewer commented, "So similar it's freaky," whilst others slammed Meghan's version as inauthentic and overly curated and a total rip-off. Meghan told People magazine, "Even when I get a takeout, I will try to plate it beautifully," mirroring Pamela's own quote from her own show, where she said, I have always wanted to take things to another level. Jessie Fawcett, co-creator and executive producer of Pamela's show, offered a diplomatically barbed response. She said, "We take pride in planting the first seeds, creating original, distinctive programming. It's a compliment to see our work resonate so strongly." See what you did there? It's very clear what's going on. Additionally, parallels were drawn between Meghan's show and Emma's Kitchen, hosted by Emma Weymouth, the Marchioness of Bath. There is nothing Meghan won't steal. Her brand, As Ever, we know about that, right? That's her lifestyle brand where she's flogging jam and aprons and goodness knows what else. That was taken from a New York fashion brand, which has been terrible news for her. Meanwhile, the crest, the actual logo of her brand caused controversy in Spain because the logo featuring a palm tree flanked by two birds. What is it with birds today? The logo featuring a palm tree flanked by two birds was said to closely resemble, there's a surprise, pattern emerging here, the historic coat of arms of Porreres, a town in Majorca, Spain. The town's mayor acknowledged the similarity. In fact, they said it's the same blinking logo, but they wouldn't take legal action. And do you know why they wouldn't take legal action? Because it's a little Spanish town and they don't have the money. They can't afford to take on powerful megalomaniac Meghan, who pretends she's a nice person.
"I like Princess Catherine. She is my friend. Upon her, I wish no harm."
Meanwhile, she's always wearing Princess Diana outfits. Okay, you've got the houndstooth skirts, little nod to Diana. You've got the Northwestern hoodie, which Diana was famous for wearing in the 80s. She is just the biggest thief. She's a copycat. What about copying Kate Middleton? She is so jealous of Kate. The jealousy between Meghan and Princess Catherine.
"Princess Catherine is my friend. I like her. Upon her, I wish no harm."
So what's she done with Kate Middleton? Well, she took up beekeeping after Kate Middleton liked it, because the theme is very clear. Anything Catherine can do, I can do better. And also, sharing her children's artwork on social media, something introduced by Catherine. Meghan's got to be part of it, of course. And then Catherine was the ultimate princess, and Princess Meghan, can I even say those words without feeling nauseous? Princess Meghan. She steps in and goes, "Hold my beer. I'm the real princess." Wedding dress. Meghan's wedding dress was allegedly plagiarized. It was designed by Claire Waite-Keller for Givenchy, which I think you'll agree I'm wearing today. You're welcome. Well, just underpants. Compared to designs by Emilia Wickstead, who claimed it was identical to one of her creations. So Emilia Wickstead is furious about the wedding dress design stolen from her. Others picked up on that. The dress also drew comparisons to a Givenchy gown worn by Audrey Hepburn in the film Funny Face. She'll steal anything, folks. Anything that's not screwed down. It goes on. There's a children's book called The Bench. Meghan released her book, right? The Bench. Another horrible flop. Critics noted similarities to The Boy on the Bench from 2018 by British author Corinne Averis. American Riviera Orchard. Remember that terrible brand? What an awful name for a company, American Riviera Orchard. It sounds like some kind of disease you'd pick up on holiday abroad if you fraternized with the wrong kind of people. In a biblical sense, don't you think? On today of all days, I will not elaborate on that metaphor, but I think you get my point. American Riviera Orchard. You need a good 2-week course of antibiotics to clear that one up. But it basically was mired in trademark challenges because other people said, well, our company is kind of called American Riviera Orchard, so please back off. But did she back off? No. And then the ultimate clash of the titans, Martha Stewart. Now, do you know who she is? She's America's ultimate. What is she? America's mother, America's homemaker. She's a famous entrepreneur, chef, cook. She's got a bit of fashion, I think. And then there's teapots and scented candles and cutlery sets. The woman is extraordinary. She did briefly spent about a year or 6 months in the slammer for some share corruption, which definitely the halo slipped for a while. But she's a legend. She is a legend, Martha Stewart. In the UK, think Delia Smith times 100. And she's weighed in because the Duchess of Sussex apparently invented skillet spaghetti, where you basically cook spaghetti with the sauce and the onions and the tomatoes all in one skillet, all in one pan, without boiling the pasta or anything like that. Except that Martha Stewart invented that recipe. And so Martha very subtly updated the recipe and the description to read the original and the best. Right? So she's updated the recipe and she's posted as the original and the best, a clear dig at Meghan Markle. Because at that point, Megs is out of her depth. Of course she is. We knew that and we know that. Listen, I've got so many more juicy stories to come for future shows, but let me finish on this, which is a very sad day for the world and especially for practicing Roman Catholics like myself, which is the passing of Pope Francis, which is really, really sad. He passed at the age of 88. So King Charles has said that he and Queen Camilla have heavy hearts after the Pope's passing, as they pay tribute to his compassion and tireless commitment to people of faith. The King said in a statement released by Buckingham Palace that though deeply saddened, their sorrow had been somewhat eased by the Pope being able to share an Easter greeting with the Church and the world he served with such devotion. Yes, it is wonderful, isn't it? It's sad, it's terribly sad that he's gone, but isn't it amazing that he was able to participate in the Easter celebration? The King and Camilla met the Pontiff on a state visit to Italy earlier this month. Isn't that perfect timing? One of several that he said he remembered with particular affection. During the private meeting, Pope Francis had wished the King and Queen a happy 20th wedding anniversary. The King said His Holiness will be remembered for his compassion, his concern for the unity of the Church, and for his tireless commitment to the common causes of all people of faith and to those of goodwill who work for the benefit of others. He goes on, his belief that care for creation is an existential expression of faith in God resounded with so many across the world. Through his work and care for both people and planet, he profoundly touched the lives of so many. Indeed, he did. God bless the Pope. May he rest in peace. He touched so many lives in such a positive way, unlike a few people I can mention. My husband. Folks, it's been great chatting. Really enjoyed our Easter shows together. I'll be back tomorrow for a barrel load of material. So much material. I might need an extra large decaf. Stay awesome. Have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.